You are watching On Demand. Please do not try to vote or enter any competition or other interactivity in this programme, as it may not count and you may still be charged.
Welcome to your final serving of Loose Women for this week, and here to put the icing on the cake of your day with hot topics and fire debate alongside me, Kay Adams, is Linda Robson, Stacey Solomon and Nadia Sawala. We're all a bit giddy today, I don't know why. I think it's because Linda's ready to deliver a baby.
He's not coming yet. Don't know. We never know with you.
Yeah, I know. After a farmer declared she would take a bullet for her alpaca, how far would you go to save your pet? Also, she did miss it last time, her baby shower, but we are finally going to be able to throw a baby shower for Stacey and give her...
I'm excited to be here for it.
I know, it's traditional.
I know, I'm so jealous. I was sat in the hospital
We will give you the send-off you deserve.
Oh.
And at 12:45, Ruby Wax joins us to talk mental health and why you should never ask someone how they are. Plus, why she's revisiting her legendary 90s interviews with stars including Pamela Anderson, Madonna and Donald Trump. Whoa, we're going to get the inside goss on that one. But I just mentioned it there. This is a farmer who's prepared to make the ultimate sacrifice and step in the way of any vet who has been told to destroy her alpaca. Geronimo, there's Geronimo the alpaca there. A High Court judge ruled that the animal is suffering from bovine TB and must be put down. So, I mean, that is obviously a very, very... unique and unusual example, isn't it? But I mean, Nadia, I know you've really been through the mill with Chi-Chi recently. You've really had to focus on, right, well, how far do you go?
Yeah, well, because 6 weeks or so ago she nearly died. Then last Friday she suddenly went blind. She's got a bit of sight back now and was ill again. We had to take her to the hospital again. And, God, you know, I can remember, Kate, you and I years ago on Loose Women talking about stories like this and just being totally dismissive. Oh, it's crazy. How could anyone do that? But until you're in it with the dog that you love or the animal that you love, everything kind of goes out the window. And it's just like, and it's cost a lot so far with Chi-Chi. And it is kind of scary. It's like, if
and do you sit down with a vet at any point? I mean, thankfully I haven't been in that situation, touch wood, but I mean, do you sit down at some point and have to have a conversation about the money?
Well, it's really, really strange. It's just like, this is what it will cost. And then it's, I suppose people either can pay it or they don't, but they don't really ask if you can. They ask if you've got insurance, and we didn't have a great insurance, I have to say. I mean, they paid up, but nothing like what it's cost. But it just keeps going on, and it's like, you know, for how many times can you pay out? It's a really scary situation, because if she were to get really ill again,
yeah,
you know, those questions would have to start being asked. But who asks them first? The vet or us, or I don't know.
It's so hard, isn't it?
Really
you
is.
Think about all those people that just wouldn't be able to afford the option of even trying to keep them alive. Yeah. And then also it makes you think about when you're buying an animal. So, you know, when you buy a dog or a cat or anything, no, if you're rescuing, I don't know if they do it, but is there somebody there that says, do you know what, these are your options for insurance, because actually if this happens, this will cost this much, and you're probably better off going down this road because financially it's going to cost you this for kennels, or I don't know.
Well, it's a good idea, because there's no way I had any concept of how much it actually costs, and it's a fortune, isn't it? You know?
And when you think of this last year, where we've gone puppy crazy, haven't we? And all these stories about, oh, people get a puppy, and the price of the puppy are going up. And this is kind of the back end of it. I mean, you had it with poor Ernie, didn't you?
I did, last year. So he had a fractured or a ruptured disc in his back. He just jumped off the sofa, and he was so bad. Like overnight, he just like deteriorated so much. And Bobby wasn't there, and it was Bobby's dog, you know. Like, so we had to ring her in the morning and say we're going to take him to the vet. And we took him there, and it was because of COVID. We weren't allowed to go in with him, so we left him there. And like, he was in there for probably about 8 days, and then they rang us and said, like, we think it's time for him to go now.
Oh, they
so
did say that?
Yeah, they did. So we went down, but we would have paid anything to save him.
We were ringing
you?
different vets to find out if we could get a second opinion and that. But I mean, basically, it was all the same really, and they're quite known for it. Sausage dogs and French bulldogs are known for
They're
having
beautiful,
back problems.
yeah.
But when you say you would have paid anything, has everyone not got a limit? I mean,
But what about you?
Well, it's
You adore your dog. What
I
would be
know,
your
I know,
limit?
but it really, your experience is really concentrated in mine because my instinct is anything. Sell the house, sell the car, I'll do
Sell
whatever
the
it
husband.
takes. But
Well, that would go before the house
how
and
much
the
I-
car.
that would go before the house and the car. You're not even married yet.
But how sensible? I mean, you're the one with the level-headed money head, Stacey.
No,
How sensible is that?
I don't look. I think emotionally, I would feel the same. So on an emotive level, I'd be like, oh my god, anything for my animals. I mean, Theo's 10 years old now. My Chihuahua on the right, and I know that Chihuahuas, I maybe got 5 or 6. Please God, a bit longer years left. And I just think I don't know what I'd do without her. She's older than all of my children, but Zach, I've known her for. I just feel like she's a massive part of my life. But then that when you were explaining the costs of some of these vet bills, I don't know if I could even afford. Well, where does it stop? Where does it
can
end?
go on forever?
And what if it's a reoccurring illness and then you can't get an insurance for your dog, so you just have to keep paying out and out and out.
But you know
I
the
wouldn't
other
judge
thing?
anybody, is what I'm saying. I think we put a lot of
Exactly.
pressure on owners
I think so.
to, do whatever they can, but I wouldn't judge anyone for saying this is way past my limit and actually.
Yeah.
But there are lots of older people out there that couldn't actually afford to take, like the cost of taking
Absolutely.
their cats to vets.
I mean, well, just on that, I mean, there's the PDSA, which is, I think, the UK's largest veterinary charity, and also the Blue Cross, and they do provide a range of free services to people who are on certain benefits, and which they do a marvellous job, but I think still it's limited what they can do. But you know, the one thing we should concentrate on, there are countries in this world where that happens with people.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
you can't afford, and we should be very grateful that we have the National Health Service, that we're not put in that situation, that you can't actually afford care for your family members. Talking of America, in the TV show Friends, she said she'd always be there for you, but this week Jennifer Aniston revealed that she's been cutting out friends from her life who've refused to get vaccinated against COVID-19. Harsh, Linda, or reasonable?
Well, I just think like cutting them out of her life is a bit too harsh, so if you are worried about it or you've got underlying health issues or whatever, then you can avoid them for a little while. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's their choice if they don't want the vaccine, and I know it's her choice if she doesn't want to see them because they've not been vaccinated, but I just think it's quite harsh to just say that she's cutting them out of her life completely.
I think it's. I'm going to be really strong. I think it's everything that is wrong with the world at the moment. What she said, I'm so shocked. Why can't we
Really? Why do
just
you
be
find it so
more
shocking?
understanding of people's different point of view? I've got really close friends that are not vaccinated, and it really frightens me. And I wish to God that they would do it. And I see their lives getting smaller and smaller and smaller because there's so many things they won't do because they're scared of getting COVID. But to cut them off as a friend, I mean, we've got to keep having the debate. Not everybody that is scared or is questioning the vaccine is a crazy anti-vaxxer. There's many people that have had all the other vaccines but have fears about the vaccine. We've got to keep having a conversation, and if it gets to the point where people are just cutting people out of their lives for it.
Well, yeah, but you can question people's
Stacey,
motivations. But I mean, she's made a statement, a sort of clarification on Instagram, which I'll read out. But yeah, so you can look at people's motivations. But for her, it seems that she feels the end result of your actions, i.e. not getting the vaccine, are putting her and other people at risk. So that's what it boils down to for her. She says, if you have the variant, you are still able to give it to me. I may get slightly sick, but I will not be admitted to hospital and or die. But I can give it to someone else who does not have the vaccine and whose health is compromised.
Yeah, but you can
So
meet out in the
that's
garden.
the way she reads it.
You can meet outside in the garden. You can sit 10 feet apart. I think I think that isn't a friend. That isn't a friend, to not respect another friend's choices, however they may be made. There is plenty of ways you can see a person without being in danger.
Would you go to a bar with that person?
Huh?
Would you go to a bar with that person?
But
Not if I'm
you might not
scared,
directly
no.
go to a bar with that person, but how do you know everyone in the bar's been vaccinated?
Well,
they don't have to
we
prove
might
it
have
on their
to
way.
know that in times to come because they seem to be going down that road, don't
I know what you're saying, Nadia. I think there's a lot of judgment on both sides. I think that sadly, what we're not doing is going, why do you feel so scared of the vaccine? We're just immediately looking at somebody and saying, you're wrong, I'm right, this is that. And I don't think there's anyone's giving anybody's opinion credit or value on either side. So you're either for or against, and both sides think, you know, there's no compassion.
Grey area.
There's no emotion. There's no humanity in the argument. It just feels like if you're not on one side, then you're an absolute loon, and if you're not on the other side, then you're a part of a regime.
It's because everyone's a little bit scared.
Yeah, exactly.
From whatever direction, whatever standpoint they have, everyone's a little bit scared. And when you're scared, you tend to become quite strident and quite dogmatic, and it's difficult to be generous, isn't it?
Yeah, but also in times like this, it's times that you need your friends. So to cut them off completely is really extreme, I think.
Yeah.
It's real irony, isn't it, when you think of that show for how many years, and that's the most unfriendly thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, no, I'll be there for you unless you're not
Unless
double
you do
bagged.
exactly what I'm doing.
Called unfriends.
We did do a poll on this, and we asked you, would you cut off an unvaccinated friend? And it was quite overwhelming. 74% of people said, no, I would not cut off an unvaccinated friend.
How do you know they can't get vaccinated for medical reasons? And then would you not spend time with that person?
What if they're just frightened? It's okay.
Yeah,
It's okay.
Yeah.
It'll definitely kind of break down a lot of relationships. So, because as soon as you sort of enter that level of, oh, I don't trust you, you know.
It's already a us versus them, isn't it? It feels like when it comes to the vaccine conversation.
Very
And
divisive.
Jennifer Aniston definitely won't be there for you.
No. Oh, please don't be watching, Jenna.
Jennifer.
Lots more still to come. We're throwing a baby shower because our Stacey is about to go off on maternity leave. Hopefully, she is going to stick around for this one.
No, I'm here.
In just a moment, the Queen of Comedy, Ruby Wax, will be here to talk all about the importance of mindfulness, as well as her plans to revisit her legendary 90s TV show, of which I was a huge fan. We're back with Ruby next. Welcome back. Coming up, Ruby Wax joins us in just a minute. And still to come, there she is. Linda is on hand to do birthing exercises. Can I assure you, Linda is on her own in the studio. She's doing birthing exercises just in case Stacey goes into labour.
That was a very odd stop.
Oh, thank goodness it's been revealed.
Pan it out. All that.
Yeah, we are determined to give her a baby shower. How's your pelvic floor holding up there, Linda?
It's doing really well. Don't live with that too long.
Linda's having a whale of a time,
I
isn't
told
she?
you there'd be a cameraman here.
I think it's time for a competition.
Yeah.
What better way to kick off the weekend than bouncing up and down on a rubber ball? No, with the chance to get your hands on two massive prizes. Give us a woo, Linda. Kerry Boyne has all the details.
We've got an amazing prize up for grabs that could see you living mortgage or rent-free for 2 years. That's right. No matter where you live in the UK, if you have rent or a mortgage, we'll cover it for 2 years up to the value of £30,000. Be it a house, a flat, or even a cute little railway carriage like this. We're also throwing in a whopping £70,000 in tax-free cash. Oh yeah, it really is the prize that keeps on giving. So if you think home is where the heart is, then it's time to get entering. Because I'll tell you something, if you don't, I will. Ta-ra! For your chance to win, go to the website. Entries cost £2. Text WIN to 86060. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Call 09 068 78 6060. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to DY31 PO Box 7558 Derby D10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close on Friday the 3rd of September at 3 p.m. Good luck!
Now, our next guest today is sure to We've all got one. No, she shot to fame in the 1980s sitcom Girls on Top alongside Dawn French, Jennifer Saunders and Tracy Ullman. She then went on to host her own documentary series interviewing some of Hollywood's biggest stars before earning a master's degree at Oxford, receiving an OBE and writing 6 books. Now she's back to talk about her latest, which is all about mindfulness. Hi there, Ruby Wax. How are you?
Hi.
Oh,
Hi.
sorry, Ruby, let me
Fine,
apologise.
Thanks for having me.
I just made a mistake there by asking you that question. Let me ask you, how are the weather conditions in your head?
Oh yeah, the weather conditions, because fine doesn't mean anything anymore. I'm pretty breezy, so thanks for asking.
Oh, that's good.
Can I just say, my book isn't really completely about mindfulness. It's called A Mindfulness Guide for Survival, and I wrote it during the pandemic, mainly for myself. And it's a workbook, so you can doodle in it, you can write in it, you can self-reflect, you can wear it as a hat. You know, I didn't want to just have the stuff on the page.
Yeah.
And the way I came up with it was I run a chat room called Frazzle Cafe, and I ran it every night during the pandemic. So for hundreds of people, and they were talking about the same thing, what you were talking about before, you know, that they were, there were some realities that were hitting them in the face, you know, like uncertainty and loneliness and, change and horrible thoughts, panic. And that came up every night. So I wrote this workbook on how, as human beings, we can face those. I mean, they're not going away. We were lonely before the pandemic. So it's really to, be kinder to yourself. There's exercises for you to self-reflect and see, what do you layer on? I mean, the COVID was scary, but a lot of people were suffering from thinking, oh my God, what if? Oh my God, what's going to happen? And that really can make you ill, those layers of thinking.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I was reading the book last
my book
night.
helps you.
Ruby, I was saying I was reading the book last night, and for me, what I really valued about it was it demystified this whole notion of mindfulness, because we hear it so much now, and I've thought, well, what do you really mean? And I love the way in the book that you make it real and you break it down and you actually give people something, as you say, that they can do, rather than it being a kind of airy-fairy concept.
Yeah, I mean, it's exercise. They shouldn't call it mindfulness. It's a kind of brain workout. The way you do a sit-up and you get a six-pack. So mindfulness is actually, it strengthens parts of the brain, get it? Like as if you were doing a sit-up in your mind. And it gives you more access to be able to, lower the stress, because we really need that. Otherwise, your brain's fogged. And be able to focus your attention so you're not completely distracted by the news, which terrifies you even more, because you said it before, fear means we can't think straight anymore. So this is really, the book is how to navigate the waves, when the sea of life gets too rough. And as I say, it helps you deal with loneliness and uncertainty, which is the only thing you can be certain about. And the last chapter's on death, because we had that around, but not in a way to be morbid, but in a way to understand impermanence. It's a sell-by date. We've all got, so whatever you do now, make sure it's what you want. Make sure the friends are who you want. Make sure you focus on who you are rather than, what Twitter's making you do, or all these outside influences that we feel we're not good enough because we're not as happy as the next person. Believe me, you are enough, and if you're kind to yourself, then you have a refuge, which is you.
You've talked a lot in the past, Ruby, about your depression as well. Do you find that mindfulness is a way to help you through that as well? Do you have very low times, don't you?
I did have low times, and that's why I got interested in it, but not everybody. And it does deliver what it says on the tin. It's not a magic pill, but I can feel it coming. As we were saying before, mindfulness, and there's exercises in the workbook that aren't mindfulness, where you check, what are my habits of thinking? Do I always think I'm not good enough? Do I always think, I'm going to fail? And mindfulness gives you a little distance from it. My bad thoughts still come in, but they're more like a radio in another room. I can choose to go, okay, come back later. Or actually, not everybody thinks I'm a failure. Some people do, but it makes you question your thoughts. So I did get into mindfulness because of depression, but it's also good for anxiety, panic, what happened in the pandemic. People who are just fine, but they want to have a more healthy life. They want more, they want to be able to focus their attention, because sometimes I'm with my kids, but my mind is, I'm thinking about what's for lunch. And we miss so much of our lives because we're brain wandering. You know, we don't know where we are. And so, you know, if you're 30 years old and you're mind wandering for 80% of your life, you only have 1 minute left. So the book really helps you focus to be present.
Ruby,
and there's
sorry
no
to
other way
interrupt
to do
you.
it but exercise.
Ruby, sorry to interrupt you, but I'm really mindful of time as well, unfortunately, this morning. And what I really want to speak to you about is
That's your
the
job.
fact that you are going to revisit When Ruby Met, which was a series you did that I was a huge fan of.
Oh, yeah, that comes out.
The cast list was amazing. I mean, you spent time with Donald Trump, with O.J. Simpson, with Hugh Hefner, with Madonna, and I mean, real quality time with them, didn't you?
Well, those were the days where I could spend a week with them. Not Donald, because he hated me, and so he threw me off his plane. But Goldie and Bette and Carrie Fisher and Sharon Stone, those became love affairs because I was with them for a few days. And so I always wanted to get who they really are, you know, what's behind the mask. And you can only get that not sitting behind a desk, but by really having quality time. And it was suddenly like I had the most popular girls in the school, and they, you know, they liked me. And then of course I had Bill Cosby, and he hated me.
How could
So,
anyone
you
hate
know,
you?
I always got on with the women.
How could anyone
Bill
hate
Cosby
you, Ruby? What were they like?
Tormented me. Oh, you're just saying that. Well, Donald didn't love me. Let's just say that it was a car crash. But you know, Madonna, Carrie Fisher, I made my close friends out of that show. My address book got really thick. So it's coming back at the end of August. And I hadn't seen it for 25 years. And they filmed me watching it and making comments about it. And, you know, why didn't anybody tell me I was cute? You know, I thought I was a doll. And I could have had a different life. Yeah.
Well,
And it's
my
great
goodness.
that they're showing all my stuff before I die.
It's great for us because we will love the show.
Lovely. It will absolutely be an appointment to view, Ruby.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for joining us
Oh.
today, Ruby Wax.
Oh, thank you.
And you are so cute.
Thank you. Not now, but thanks.
Still
Yes,
to come.
now.
Stacey's baby shower, and hopefully she will turn up to this one. And in just a moment, what's in the perfect kitchen? Is it like any of ours? Find out after this.
I've done my time in the kitchen and party. I've done my time in the kitchen and party.
Mother Duchess, author, philanthropist, Sarah, Duchess of York, talks about the inspiration behind her debut novel, talking about love and daring to follow your heart. Monday on Loose Women.
Welcome back to Friday's Loose Women with Linda Robson, Nadia Sawala, Stacey Solomon, and me, Kay Adams. Next is The Kitchen, the heart of the home. Plus, we'll be discussing pregnancy cravings after our Stacey was outed by fiancé Joe for eating, wait for it, raw cauliflower with mango chutney, mayonnaise, and curry powder.
That's not pregnancy craving. That's just good food.
Oh,
It's just Stacey.
Oh.
I actually really think, what's wrong with cauliflower?
Tell them what you had for breakfast this morning.
No, it's normal. You everyday beef.
Chips for breakfast. It's not normal.
chips for breakfast. I was having a baby.
Normal. I also had a BLT.
Yes, she
and some
did.
tin fruit.
She had all food groups.
And a bag of crisps.
Yeah.
That wasn't just while you was pregnant. You used to be like that before.
I am. I do like.
But you've woken up.
It's just she's in the wrong topic.
Sorry.
yet.
We're talking about kitchens now, you.
Kitchens.
Apparently, the most important room when you're selling the house, and now research has revealed the perfect kitchen is white,
Oh.
with a central island, a walk-in pantry, an American-style fridge freezer, and a coffee machine.
Oh.
which, Nadia, is very... I haven't seen your kitchen, Linda, but yours is kind of the perfect kitchen.
Well, apart from I don't have a walk-in pantry like
I do,
you, which
I
I'm so jealous
do.
of. You just fill it with Tupperware and not food.
Well, there's your
Yes,
kitchen.
I've got the white
kitchen's
central.
lovely, Ned.
Oh.
White Central Island.
Yeah, but you know the funny thing is, I went through all that torture in Big Brother to get my new kitchen and my
Yes.
extension. And what I used to have was a much smaller kitchen, but it was very bohemian, very much more like me. And so, and when I wanted the perfect kitchen that I'd seen in the magazine, it's actually a builder's kitchen. It's really cheap. That. I imagined that I would have a tidy, sleek house if I just got the kitchen, but of course I just moved the boho style into a sleek kitchen, and it's the biggest disaster. I should never got in Big Brother. I should never had an extension.
We know
I
that.
should have kept my old kitchen, because my kids on a daily basis go, "Oh, I don't like the house anymore. I miss the old."
But you've got the open plan, and that's what everybody
But
wants.
the open plan is a nightmare, because I used to go into the kitchen, it was my area, and I'd go in, I'd have my little telly, I'd cook, I'd do my recipes. But now I fry an onion, I turn on the Mum, because the telly's in there. So the dream turned into a nightmare.
See, that is the kind of kitchen that I grew up with. It was at the end of the corridor, and the door was shut. You know, people spend their lives in kitchens now. Why are you looking at me like this, people?
Where did you grow up? It sounds like a dungeon.
In a shoe, in a shoe, in the bottom of a hall.
Why was it such a
Why was it dark and the door was locked?
But you weren't surrounded by food all the time. You only went to the kitchen, you know, maybe to get a wee Tunnocks caramel wafer or something, and then you'd open the door and come. Whereas
But
now,
why were you scared of getting the wave out? Every time you imaginary open your kitchen, you look horrified. I open the kitchen and I think,
We spend much more time in our kitchens now than we ever did, don't we?
oh, there's my kitchen.
There's your
Oh,
kitchen.
yeah, you've got lovely kitchen.
Bad
You
picture.
moved your kitchen from your old house, didn't you?
I did. They didn't want it. They were going to skip it. I says, give it here.
Me and Linda have actually got the same kitchen, haven't we?
We have from the same place. I know,
Yeah.
yeah. Nice.
Did you get a
and-
deal on it?
It was cheap.
Well, they give you a little deal because the builders get a deal for you, don't
Right.
they? So they
Builder
just get a
trades-
deal
it
or
trades
anything else. There it
kitchen.
is. It's quite
Oh, so yours
Quite
is the
minimal.
perfect white kitchen?
well. It's actually slightly grey, but it's got the really nice worktop and a splashback and everything. So yeah, but I love it. And then there's the table at the end there, and we all sit around the table for Sunday lunch or whenever the kids come round. But ours is like I'll say penthouse, but it's not like a penthouse, but it's all like in a big circle.
Right.
So off of that is our front room, and then there's like a little computer table there, so you can just go around. And the kids love it because they just ride around on the scooters or the bikes all the time.
I'm
I love
imagining the post office tower. I can't really get a handle on this.
Well,
I just don't congregate in the kitchen though.
Yeah, always.
Doesn't matter. My mum had a tiny, narrow galley kitchen, and no matter what, me and my friends would just sit on the side of the kitchen side. Do you know what I mean? That's where we live. I love it in the kitchen.
but what state's your kitchen in now? You're getting it done up, aren't you?
We are getting it done up. It's a beautiful kitchen, but it's not. We're not keeping it. We're going to give it to somebody else or sell it. But yeah, I love being in the kitchen. My dream kitchen would be a kitchen with a sofa in it, so that
Yeah.
people can like just.
Well, when
sit
we
there.
all
I
came
know
to
that sounds
when we all
weird.
came to yours, we all sat in the kitchen.
Oh, we didn't
all
move
of
any
us.
further,
No.
did we? We didn't go into the house at
And it
all.
must be,
That's right.
be really nice to get an invite to Linda's kitchen, but none of us have.
You will get an invite. You're always welcome at my house.
Yeah, she says that. She says that. Anyway,
I'd get a takeaway though.
have you heard about this former nurse? She's 108 years of age, and she says the secret to her long life has been a tipple of whiskey once a week. Her name's Betty Spear. There she is. Also a good strong cup of tea that keeps her active. So what is it, Linda, that you just couldn't do without?
Cup of tea.
Is it a cup of
I
tea?
love my cups of tea, and they've got to be really milky. And everyone gets really offended with how milky my tea is. Look, it's just like a cup of milk.
Yeah,
But
that
that's
is
how I
amazing.
like it. There we go.
There you
Cup of
go.
milk. Cup of
Yeah,
milk.
tip it,
I'm
tip
gonna
it.
tip it on that biscuit. He kept saying, "Keep going in my ear."
Linda, that is not tea.
That is
not
tea.
tea.
That is
That is
tea.
100% not
That
tea.
is
I am
tea.
fully offended.
That
We
is tea.
just-
When I go on holiday,
This
I
is
bring
the
my own
colour
tea
of my
bag.
tea.
It was
Linda,
like
there you go.
Why can't you get a good shot of tea? What is wrong with
I know,
you? Hold
yeah.
on.
It looked like a slow. We were watching a slow
Stacey
car
is
crash
now
there.
determined. That's oh, you got it as well.
The camera isn't like
All right, everybody. Okay. Don't see my tea. There you go.
Here, have a bit.
The director is going crazy in our ears.
Everyone could go mad on
No, I can't even talk about my guilty pleasures because that
What is
is
it?
not tea.
Oh, shut up.
She
Linda,
loves
that
her
is
tea.
milk.
Good reaction, Steve.
I know.
What's your guilty
Like a
pleasure?
cat. Oh, I've got loads. I couldn't give up anything, to be honest with you. Crisps, tea, chocolate, time bars, yeah, can of Coke. I just love it all.
See, I think I could give up anything.
Oh,
Oh.
coffee.
No, I could,
couldn't
but I
give-
could.
I couldn't give up tea or coffee.
Could
or
she
peanut
give up
butter or
coffee?
Marmite. Couldn't do it. No,
Oh, yeah,
she wouldn't say
Marmite.
she will, and she would, but she'd go back to it.
No.
You get very titchy when you don't have your
Do
coffee.
I? Do I get a wee bit nippy
Get a
when
wee
I
bit
haven't had my coffee? I love it when I start impersonating myself.
Can someone get Linda another glass of milk?
Anyway, listen, we're going to have to get a mop for that.
Stephanie.
And still to come, we are finally going to give Stacey a loose women baby shower. Find out which one of us has got her a giant inflatable unicorn. All will be explained after this.
I can't get over that tea.
Tell me what did I do wrong to make you stay? Oh, Stacey and Joe, a new baby. I've got a few people here to say something. Congratulations! This is where you could have been. Oh well.
Oh, that was Stacey's baby shower after party that she sadly missed. But looks like you had a great time.
We did. We really did.
I was so gutted. I remember FaceTiming you and being really teary, like, oh, I have a great time, girls.
Well, to be make up for it, we're going to be throwing Stacey a baby shower right now. And to make sure that she doesn't miss it, Linda is all prepared to act as a midwife.
I definitely will suck it in harder, I think.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Like the baby. I'll make sure it doesn't come out. If that's my backup.
Competition time now, thank goodness. How do you fancy getting your rent or mortgage paid for 2 years? Well, we've got that plus 70 grand tax-free up for grabs, and Kerry Boyne has all the details.
I've traded city life for the beautiful countryside here at Coppins Farm, and you can win 2 amazing prizes. You could be living mortgage or rent-free for 2 years. We're also throwing in a whopping £70,000 in tax-free cash. Now, I'm joined by Sharon and John, who live here at Coppins Farm. And I've always wanted to know, what is it like living on a farm?
It's busy, it's physically very hard work sometimes, and on a day like this, it's just wonderful.
It's never ever boring.
I love it. Variety is the spice of life, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So that's 2 amazing prizes, and all it takes is 1 entry. Someone out there's guaranteed to win this prize, and it could be you. You're welcome. For your chance to win, go to the website. Entries cost £2. Text WIN to 86060. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. Call 09068 786060. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to DY31 PO Box 7558 Derby DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close on Friday the 3rd of September at 3 p.m. Good luck!
And Linda is in position and ready for action. Get the rubber gloves on. I love the snapper rubber gloves. I'm just thinking, Naz, we should probably explain why Stacey missed her last baby
I know, because I thought, I don't think we've told you guys yet why. And obviously, it's because you'd gone into labour, hadn't you?
I gave birth the day before, and
Yeah.
I was on the Wednesday,
Yeah.
I think. I had him on the Thursday, but I was supposed to be coming in on the Friday for my last day.
And we had
And,
everything
we
arranged, and we came in, the producers were like, it's a bit unfortunate. Stacey's already had the baby.
What? I thought I had so much time. I was so excited to come in.
Oh, well, listen, it's not going to happen this time because Linda is on hand. So even if you do
Right,
have a wee
it's
sort of twinge,
I don't know how much
Gonna sort
that's
it out.
supposed to reassure me.
not in the least, I would say.
Well, I've had
Not in the
3,
least.
so
I love
yeah,
him so
I know
much.
what I'm doing.
But Stacey, in front of you, and unfortunately in front of all of us here, is a little bowl. Well, you can tell us what it is. This is apparently your craving at the moment. Raw cauliflower.
Smells
What's it?
lovely.
Mike,
It's
tell us
not
what
my
else.
cat craving. This is my favourite food. It's raw cauliflower with mayo, mango chutney and curry powder. It sounds gross, but I'm telling you, it will change your life. It's the best snack.
That is, I'm going to steal this recipe
Surprisingly good.
and make it my own. That is delicious.
I told you, Linda.
You don't like it, Linda?
Not my cup of tea.
You know, I don't know what you would have said backstage. food. It's so good for you.
Yeah,
This
I
is
don't care if
delicious.
it's
Good or
nothing
bad, I
roasting
love
up.
it.
Yeah. Did you have any cravings then, Linda, when you're pregnant?
Licorice all sorts
Really?
for some reason, and barley lemon water. I never drank a cup of tea the whole time I was pregnant. Couldn't even face it.
Call that a cup of tea anyway, eh, Stacey?
Yeah, exactly. A cup of milk, you mean?
For Charlie, it was Starbucks Frappuccinos. I'm sorry to give them a plug, but it had to be, because you get very routine, don't you? And it had to be a coffee Frappuccino. I had about 3 a day. I put on such a lot of weight, and it was all those blooming Frappuccinos. And then for Bonnie, I went off coffee, and it was orange juice. Fresh orange juice, gallons of it.
Do you know what I do like? Frozen Calippos, those ice lollies, or anything ice lolly, to be honest with you.
Lots of
Other
breakfast
makes
people.
are available.
Yeah. Does Jill get nervous when you get those?
I love them. Yeah, Joe's like, oh, what's going on here?
What about you, Nat?
Oh my God, guess what? I went off anything that was bad for me. I just couldn't understand a cupcake. I said, why would anyone have a burger? I loved fruit. I loved boiled egg and soldiers. I loved
Wow.
ratatouille with brown rice and yogurt.
You should
They're
sleep
just real
pregnant.
food, though.
No, I know, but I wanted them all the time. I didn't want any rubbish. Didn't like wine. Vodka seemed weird. Who was I?
I think what I love about that is that really is your body telling you
Yeah, what you need.
it kind of craves and what it needs.
No way, because my body tells me I could eat every single row of these cupcakes.
Or really, you going for sugar?
I've
This
never
baby
been a
now.
sweet person, have I? And
You always, I don't like sugar, and you stuff in it.
I just can't stop eating. I have to be really careful because I know obviously I don't want to get like any complications, but I am just craving sugar all the time. Tinned fruit, ice creams, anything. And I'm just not, I'd rather have a bag of crisps over any of them usually, but I'm obsessed with it. So that's why I've tried to sugarcoat my cauliflower.
Yes.
I was going to say, this is a great one for kids because it's so sweet. Put a mild curry powder.
Oh, stop being so chefy, for goodness sake. She's not right into it. Oh, you can put some raisins with this. This is a baby shower, not a bloody cooking show.
She's not going on a
Saturday
cooking
kitchen.
show.
I know. So, Stacey, how are you feeling about this one? I mean, it's a girl. Does that make a difference or no?
I mean, I don't know. It does feel like a different pregnancy. Excuse me. Sorry, I'll just stuff my face before you ask me that.
Sorry.
I'm just so excited. I'm so glad that we had the chance to have another baby. So I can't wait. I feel like this will probably be the last time we do it. Do you know what I mean? So I just really want to enjoy not every moment, because I know actually there'll be days when I'm ringing Nadia in tears.
I'm so excited to see your boys with her. Can you imagine? Because they're so lovely with each other. She's going to be the most loved. She's going to be like Harper Beckham. Isn't she? With all the boys that look after all those brothers. I always look at their pictures, the Beckhams, and just say it's the loveliest thing.
Oh, I feel really grateful. I just can't wait to be in that bubble again. You know, that little bubble at the beginning, just after the day 3 where you feel like life is over. But when you emerge into the nice bit and the bubble bit where you just feel like nothing else in the world
It's going to be.
can come in here.
Well, how long are you going to be off for?
All right, Linda.
Just wondering when you're coming back.
I don't know. I might do. I'll probably come back after Christmas, I reckon, and try and. I've never had like a proper maternity
You've got to come back
leave.
before then and bring the baby on, haven't
Oh
you?
God! As soon as
Yeah.
she's born, Linda, you know that
It'll
you'll
be
be
really-
rad.
It will be nice for you to have, a period of time that you can just sort of concentrate on the family, concentrate on the baby and the boys and everything else.
I don't know how long I'll do it for though, because you know what I'm like.
No,
at
we'll
the
let-
end,
yeah,
I'll get
I
like
do.
a bit. Where's life outside of this?
Well, listen, we've got some prezzies for you.
Oh,
Yeah, Linda, would you like to give
She was going
Stacey?
in for another cupcake.
Linda's had 3.
Second one. Right, this is for after you've given birth to Nathan.
How big do you think my bum is, Linda?
There we go. I'm not giving it to you. I'm just going to show
Tipping
you.
it over.
That is for in case you have stitches.
Yeah.
That'd be nice and comfortable. I did ask for a smaller rubber ring. You know what they're like here. Can't get the staff, can you? There we go.
Maybe I'll go on holiday after. Well, I was
was on a similar kind of theme to that.
Oh God, you ain't got me
Daisy.
a giant rubber ring as well.
No,
have you?
I haven't. But I was kind of thinking back to. Do you remember that great holiday we had in Ibiza?
Yes.
And you and I went out determined to get an inflatable unicorn.
Yes. No,
It was
we
such a
sent
funny-
you out for beer. You came back with an
Oh,
inflatable.
did we?
Oh,
We
yeah,
did.
neither of us drink beer. So
No,
we
but
were like,
that's
let's
right.
get a unicorn.
And look, there's Stacey with the unicorn.
Oh God, it's so.
And the
funny.
great thing is, and a watermelon for some reason, you just got this guy that we'd never met before, and you kind of insisted that he give us a run home.
Well, he was driving that way, weren't he? And I didn't want to walk back up the hill.
How did you know he was going that way? I mean, he didn't even speak English.
But we actually crushed this inflatable unicorn in there.
I love that.
So there's mine over there. Can we cut? I don't know if I can go over and touch it, but there you go. It's the inflatable
Oh,
unicorn. And that's for
fantastic.
when we get back to summer holidays and we can all be jumping up and down on that.
She could spend her last few weeks just lying it in a puddle if it's
And-
hot.
In a
There you
puzzle.
Yeah, right.
So
So
there you go.
I've got you something that apparently this is due to the pandemic. There's a 4 to 5 week waiting list, so it will be here by the time baby is, and it is a tease made. So she doesn't even have to get out of bed; it just makes it in the morning. As she
Oh my
gets
God,
her
it
lunch.
makes you tea.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Nadia. For a minute, I was like, what is a tea?
Oh, it's because you're
I
young.
didn't know if it was a
And I also got you these. And you might-
Tupperware. You
No.
know I love Tupperware.
No, but I'm filling it with food. I'm going to make you dishes to go in the freezer so you don't have to cook for the first. Wait, I'm showing you on camera too, but I can't see it.
There you go.
So yeah, so those two, and I'm going to.
That is actually life for me, honestly. When Nadia brings round her baklava or any of the falafels that she's cooked, I
We've got a lot of falafels in there.
Oh.
Did you genuinely get excited at Tupperware there?
No, it's going to
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's nice stack of Tupperware. I'm going to really enjoy that.
there is going to be home cooked food
I would
in
have
it.
I would have been happy if it was just empty Tupperware.
By the way, can I just say that Linda has now checked out this conversation. She's on cupcake number 4.
Number two.
I've won Stacey, go on. Now listen, of course, before anyone's allowed to take any time off Loose Women at all, we have to do our obligatory best bits. So Stacey, here we go. Let's have a look at some of your very, very many best bits. I nearly did let the cat out the bag the other
So
week.
relieved.
No.
I'm still acting like I don't know what's going on.
I'm so excited, girls.
What makes you rage these days?
It bugs me that I'm bugged. Like, it actually upsets me that I feel this way. I'd much rather be happy. Do you know what I mean? It's not that I'm choosing this. It's chose me. Let's go like, yeah.
I don't want that to drop out. That's it. That's it.
Oh my God.
Mother knees, get together.
How much for the designer ones?
Oh, zillions.
I think we should go into this.
Shall we?
Yeah. I would wear this.
If it's a girl, you could call it Piccalilli.
That's a lovely suggestion.
Piccalilli. Piccalilli.
If it's a boy,
Yeah,
what?
thanks.
Pickle Willy. That's what
Willy.
you would say. Oh, I'm going to miss you.
Stacey, we cannot wait to meet your new little pickle.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I think you'll find some lovely flowers there for you.
Oh,
That you probably had no idea were there.
you shouldn't
There you
have.
go. And there's something else down there as well,
Oh my
is
God,
there?
they're so beautiful.
Something
Another
else,
little
another little
present.
bag.
Are they from a garage?
No, they're
No.
lovely.
Is it another? Imagine if it's another
Quick, show
inflatable.
everybody.
All
We're
right,
going to have to
hold
go
on.
soon. What's in there?
Get it out.
Oh,
Oh,
little
a
loose
little
women.
loose
There we
women.
go.
All the best, Stacey. Lots of love.
Why
Lots
did
of
that
love.
make you
Your baby
emotional?
shower. On Monday, Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York, will join us to talk about her debut novel. And of course, we're saying goodbye to Stace for a wee while.
Only for a little while.
Have a lovely weekend.